Hey guys, welcome back. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle, and this is the Music Business Podcast where we talking about all things on how to get you to six figures. Now, we're talking about what's going on in the news. We have TikTok getting banned in Montana. Okay, is this the start of the domino effect of TikTok getting banned in all of the United States? We're going to talk about that. But then also Taco Tuesday. Taco Bell is getting everyone really fired up because it's filed a petition to cancel the trademark Taco Tuesday, which is owned by someone else. And so, Taco Bell is making this argument. Everyone should enjoy Taco Tuesday. It shouldn't just be owned by this one company. So, we'll talk about what their petition says and definitely want to get your thoughts on this. And then, of course, we have a couple artist tips for you as far as how to retain your audience, how to work more efficiently. I got you covered on all things. So, hello in the chat, wherever you guys are watching from. We're broadcasting all the places right now. And as you are commenting, I can see all of your comments. Hello, hello. So, anyway, where are you checking in from? What time is it? And don't forget to come and join the community over on Top Music Attorney YouTube. Hey there in the chat. You're from Montana. Uh-oh, then you are not going to be happy because they don't want you to have TikTok, and we're going to be talking all about it. Checking in, Phoenix, 5 p.m., El Paso, Texas, 6 p.m. Love it. All right, guys, so I'm going to run the intro, and we're going to do the show today a little out of order. And we're just kind of going wild with this. I got a concert to go to after this. So, you know what? We're going to keep it very fun, very efficient, as always. All right, and I will be right back. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney Miss Krystle. I'm an entertainment attorney, public speaker, and creator of the Top Music Attorney School for artists and record labels. I'm the owner of Dukes Up Records, and most importantly, I'm an independent artist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you don't miss my weekly videos giving you my best tips on the music business, industry news updates, and teaching you how to stay legally protected. So I went to a music festival over the weekend and I got a mild sunburn. I'm more sun-kissed than sunburned, but a little sunburned. And it was the Sick New World Music Festival for all of you rock babies out there. So amazing. But we went, we adventured, we sunburned, and we got to see all of the great bands, the Evanescence, Korn, we had Papa Roach, Deftones, System of a Down. So it was pretty amazing. Ooh, I still got this on. Sorry about that. So it was pretty cool, and we'll bring in that Orko to kind of talk about all the things. But I'll tell you what, I kind of want to hit a quick tip right out the gate just to give you guys some value. So let's go over really fast because I'm excited to get into the news topics, but I just want to give you some value right out the gate because why not? So I want to talk about how to... Oh, there we go. Hello, Mr. Producer. You disappeared from the world. I want to talk about how to retain... Uh-oh, his computer crashed. That's not good. All right, I'm gonna start this over. Here we go. I want to talk about how to retain your audience because right now we all live on social media. And if we are building music businesses, if we're building our music careers, we are doing this predominantly on social media, right? And then we try to drive traffic to music platforms. So if that's the case, and if you happen to be doing really well, it's usually on maybe one or two platforms in particular. So what happens if and when those platforms go away, right? So for example, TikTok. We just had the official ban of TikTok happening now in Montana. Is this going to continue if you live in the US? Are you going to be impacted by this? So I want to talk about the 5 ways to make sure that you retain your audience. So as an independent musician, artist, producer, really retaining your audience is so key to your long-term success. So here are my 5 ways on how to retain your audience. Now, the first is going to be making sure that you offer exclusive content. So, when I say exclusive content, this can at least start on your social media platforms, right? But you can do this by giving early access. Okay, so things like an email list, getting people to go to a website, we'll talk about that. But having early access, giving people access to behind the scenes, that's so fun. Sometimes it's more fun to see behind the scenes for like a music video than watching the actual music video. So giving that exclusive kind of access is going to be helpful. We can also do things like acoustic versions of songs. We can give merchandise, discounts. So as we're working to really retain and strengthen the relationship that we have with the people who care enough to follow, right? The first thing that we can do is to give them something that the rest of the world doesn't get. So that's number one. Number two, let's talk about being active on social media. Okay. So, people feel very valued when you respond to them. And this is pretty overlooked, I think, especially for people who have smaller followings. And so they kind of might post and they don't really engage. If you happen to have 2 or 3 people at most commenting on your post, you better be responding to all 2, 3, 5, however many people are commenting, because every single person matters. And the hope is that obviously the 2 people turn into 200 people and then turn into 2 million people. And at some point, you might not be able to respond to everybody, but particularly in the beginning, you gotta give the love to the people who are giving you some attention and positive vibes and supporting you, because it's kind of the whole point of everything. The whole goal is to find people who care about what you're doing and will buy your music and come to your shows. So work to give them value in return and just give them a little attention by responding to them on social media. Number three, when it comes to how do we retain our audiences long term, okay? We're going to go beyond music. It's really important that you think beyond just the music, and you do this by showcasing your personality. All right, so rather than just kind of beating people over the head with music promotion day after day after day, what else are you into, right? What can you do to help to actually strengthen the genuine, deep connection that you want to have and that people want to feel in return? And so thinking what, about your personality can you feature? What can you share? What are your interests? What are your hobbies? These are all really good things to start incorporating into your brand, right? So the things that you share online. Now, also when it comes to like retaining the audience, we also need to get a damn calendar. So number 4, get a damn calendar. And you're going to get a calendar because if you are not having some kind of active calendar to make sure you are regularly releasing music and you're regularly posting, all right, then you're going to be in trouble because you're not going to stay on track. You're going to be inconsistent. And then again, it's going to weaken the relationship with the people that care about what you're doing. Right? You drop a song and it gets people excited. They go listen to some of your old stuff. And so having that continuity, very, very important. And it starts with just sitting down, looking at a calendar and figuring out what can you do based on what's going on in your life, based on your actual follow through, and make a plan. So number 5, when it comes to how to actually retain your audience, you have to be unusual, okay? So we're talking about, different things that we can do to strengthen the relationship. Well, it also means thinking outside the box to create unique experiences for your fans. So things like VIP experiences, backstage passes, meet and greet events, pop-up events. These are all kind of in-person things that we can do, but you can also host intimate concerts. I've done this before where you have maybe 50 people and you just pay a private venue and you have, drinks and you have all the things. And it just is so cool when you can do that kind of thing. And then it really strengthens the relationship with those kind of VIP fans that had an opportunity to attend that kind of meetup. Also, you can do these pop-up events. You can do little signings. So just trying to think creatively to, again, have like some kind of real connection, right? People are inundated with so much stuff these days. They're so spammed. And so how can you cut through the noise? It's by just trying to be as genuine as humanly possible. And, like I said, when we're talking about ways to retain your audience. We need to make sure that we are offering exclusive content. We are actually responding on social media. We are going above and beyond, and we are diversifying where our people are. Okay, so if it's just social media, if that all goes away, if one platform gets deleted, make sure you're promoting on other platforms. Make sure you are building multiple platforms consistently so that if one thing goes away, you are not totally screwed, right? Get that email list, get people to sign up at live shows with a sign up sheet. Do all these things, and you're going to be able to retain your audience long term. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to bring in that Orko because we want to talk real quick about this festival. Here we go. Hey.
Hey, shout out to the community. Thank you guys so much for being here. Every Thursday, we are here. We are broadcasting from YouTube on the Top Music Attorney channel. So make sure that you are wherever you're watching. I know you're watching us on Facebook. I know you're watching us on LinkedIn right now. Make sure you're coming over to the YouTube channel. It's so important. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so let's
what's
let's
good?
let's talk about this. So we went to the Sick New World Music Festival over the weekend,
Yeah,
and my favorite was Korn for sure. One of my absolute favorite bands. It was amazing to see System of a Down. They were the headliner, and rightfully so. They just rarely perform, so that was so cool. But
yeah.
let's talk about some of your favorites.
I mean, there were so many bands. I couldn't even see everybody that I wanted to see. I mean, I missed Placebo. I didn't get to see Kitty, although I watched all these sets, thank God, for YouTube so I can see what's going on. And I also missed Ministry, but I did see, Korn, as you mentioned, and I'd actually never seen Korn live. Now I'd seen them on YouTube, and I've met them a bunch of times and that kind of thing, but I've never actually seen them perform live, and they were so much better than I thought that they were going to be. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Deftones, my favorite rock band. Incubus was good. Although I wasn't so sure about the new bass player. Flyleaf, it was great to see Flyleaf, although they had all kinds of mixed problems.
They did. Right. So
And it was
Flyleaf was great because not just Flyleaf, but they had Lacey, the original singer,
right.
come and do the show. So that was very special for those of us who have followed for a long
Yeah.
time. But they were having so many mix issues and it was rough, especially when you were like, how many people were at the festival at that point? Maybe like 10,000, 20,000
I don't
people.
know. I think way more than that because the venue holds 85, I think 85,000, and it by the end of the night, I mean, it was pretty packed in that spot. So for sure, but yeah, no, it was really frustrating, because Flyleaf was a big, selling point for me. I'd actually had played with them. I thought that they were, they're just that first record was just so incredible, and just to have just sound issues, it was really tough. I will say for most of the festival, it sounded really good. They were playing their parts right. I don't think it was an issue of that. I mean, you could hear Lacey; she was hitting her notes, like that all sounded fine.
Yeah.
It's just there's some of the other instruments. It was a problem.
And it
Um,
was it was I'll say it was I think it was only maybe 90, a little over 90 degrees outside, but after a
yeah.
few hours, I got to
Oh my
be
gosh.
honest, I my stamina, woo, we
And we
we
are
we were
here.
we were struggling a little.
We're here in Arizona, so we know heat. Like we are no strangers to the heat. I mean, don't get me wrong, it gets at like 120 degrees here. But there was something special about that heat in Vegas over the weekend for sure. Mr. Bungle played Mike Patton, one of the best vocalists ever, doing the Mr. Bungle. Although he didn't do anything from the California record, which I was hoping for. It's always amazing to see Mike Patton. KMFDM we watched. But I will say, Deftones were definitely my favorite thing about the show.
Yeah.
Orgy
That
was awesome.
Deftones was definitely a highlight. Orgy did great. Papa
But
Roach,
Papa
look.
Roach, I
I
mean,
mean, that was the first time that I have seen them live, and the lead singer is just out of control. The whole band is
phenomenal.
collectively amazing because they're just great performers and musicians, but that lead singer just hitting his
I'm
notes.
telling you, and the thing of it is, this is I don't want. I'm not even a Papa Roach fan. Like I never listen to Papa Roach. It's just not what I listen to typically. But I've seen Papa Roach like 5 times just on stack shows or just being in the scene and just happen to see them or just whatever. And every time that is one of the tightest live bands.
Yeah.
You can say what you want to say about their music. You cannot say those guys suck live. They are phenomenal live. And I mean, even if you're just lukewarm on them and you see them coming to town, I'm telling you, like there's nothing on tape. He's
Yeah.
not like it's so
Yeah,
good.
so amazing, and I think people were passing out within a few hours, when you would go into, like, the women's restroom, at least that was my experience, but there were women, like, all over the floor, and there were paramedics, and people were just being,
It was really
off in
bad.
stretchers. It was intense.
But I will say, highlights for it. That was the smoothest running show I think I've ever seen at a festival. Like
Yeah, so let me give some props really fast. So as someone who helps to organize festivals, right? So on the legal side as an entertainment attorney, my experience going to this festival as just, a fan, consumer, whatever you want to call me, it was great. Everything was so smooth. I love that they had multiple, check-in points from a safety standpoint. They had so many water stations. They had so many Mister
mm,
stations, coverings that people could go to hide from the sun if they needed to just kind of recover. So I really felt like besides that, they also were running the show very well. They weren't behind. Everything was on time.
nothing was behind. Nothing
Yeah.
was behind. Everything ran really smoothly. Like the as soon as one set ended, you had about anywhere from like 5 to 7 minutes in between, and then the next band started.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautifully run. Another comment to your safety. They were stopping the show frequently, especially
They
during
were
the
stopping the
headlining.
show very
Make sure
frequently, and they
everyone
had
took a step
they
back.
had these insane signs, these digital signs that were like
Mm,
50 feet high, and
mm.
they would not only stop the show or otherwise direct to the performers to tell the audience to back up because the people in the front were getting crushed, but they did it like pretty much all throughout the night. And I think
It
at
was
one
I
point,
liked it. But the bands kinda seemed kind of annoyed a little bit
yeah,
because,
yeah, yeah. Chino from Deftones, he was definitely like, I hate doing this, guys. And he had to do it 3 or 4 times. He's like, guys, like, I'm so sorry. I hate doing this. I gotta tell you, back the fuck up.
back it up. Jennifer asked, "Were there rotating stages?" Yes, and I saw it in action when, at the end of Filter set and, uh, Filter sounded great, as per usual. I was wondering because KMFDM was playing immediately after, and they were playing on the same stage, and I was like, "They have 5 minutes to do this," and absolutely, the stage rotated right around, everybody was set, bam. It was
Yeah, I don't know if we have any
so
Filter
smooth.
fans watching, but the Filter are also annihilating things. He sounds
Yeah,
great
it
live.
was it was such a good lineup. There was so many things that I didn't get to see. The most, that I was bummed about was Sisters of Mercy, but I gotta tell you, at the end and Alien Ant Farm, I was in line when Alien Ant Farm, which was a major reason that I was super excited. I love that band, way more than the Smooth Criminal, although that was pretty much the only full song that I saw. I got to hear some of the songs in line, and I love that band. So, but I would have liked to seen Sisters of Mercy, but after System of a Down, I'm out. It was too much. It was so hot.
No, but
Um,
to our credit, we got there for Alien Ant
Ant
Farm.
Farm, that was like the first band that played.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did see the tail end of their set, and then obviously we saw the headliner System of a Down. So it was a long date, but really good,
But
really
I
good.
will say that the thing that helped me get through the fact was that we spent that extra bread on VIP tickets because this is a 1 day thing. There was a lot of action that was being packed in there, and I highly recommend if you happen to have the extra bucks when you're doing like a festival like that where you're just going to be under the hot sun and blazing. The VIP setup was excellent. They had each one of the stages had its own VIP section, where they had a couple of them had bathrooms, their own little bathroom areas
Yeah,
that were just separate from everybody else. They had their own bars, they had their own food vendors just in the VIP, their own shading with misters, and you had you could get closer from obviously from the VIP. So I thought that they ran the wristbands that just you just swipe it and it just like let you in like a Disney Magic Band. Um,
yeah.
I
No,
had
so
a
things are
great
really
time
good.
aside from the heat. I had a great time, but once it got nighttime, it was great.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that all being said, for those of you watching on Instagram, feel free to come over to Top Music Attorney on YouTube, and same with everyone on all other platforms. So I think let's jump in. I want to get to the news stories because this Taco Bell thing is just cracking me up, and I have some thoughts on it. But before we get to that, let's have a little discussion, and I want to talk about I want to talk about workflow strategies, and this is good for, of course, independent artists, musicians, but it's kind of like anyone who's trying to do anything. So they're just really, really good tips. So these are the 5 insanely effective workflow strategies for independent musicians, artists, producers, everyone in the music business. Okay, so number 1, we're going to create a feedback loop. If you create a feedback loop of trusted listeners, this is going to be your sounding board. All right, so you do this by developing a network of people whose opinions actually matter. The people's opinions who actually matter are going to be people who have some kind of relevant background. Okay, so if it's about music, they should have a musical background and they should have some kind of taste or ear for the type of genre you're doing. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. And it's so critical whose opinions that you put your stock into, especially as you're trying to develop a sound. Um, it's so they don't necessarily have to be like, producers themselves or understand the ins and outs. But if you're asking somebody's opinion on, say, something like, the style, like, do you like my song? If you're just saying, do you like my song? You should ask somebody that appreciates the genre that you're trying to do it. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your time. And if you're looking for things like mix notes, if you're trying to be a mixer, then I would say that you talk to somebody that kind of does these kind of things, and it might even be worth your while. We always tell you to try to, as you're building your team, find a mixer that you work with more regularly and share your mixes with them to get feedback from them. You already have a relationship with them. They're professional, working on your demos to get feedback on that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
agree.
this feedback loop is going to help you to gain valuable insights. It's going to help you identify missing, things, blind spots, and it's going to really just elevate what you're doing. So then the
Absolutely.
second insanely effective workflow hack that I have for you is create a release strategy roadmap. Okay, so just meaning like your glorified to-do list of when you have a release, music or otherwise, what are the goals? Who's the target audience? What are your promotional activities? And what's the timeline? All right, so if you don't have any of the stuff and then you're like, hey, I'm going to release a song, guess how well that song's going to do, right? Probably not that well. So, for example, when we're talking about promotional strategies, well, what about pre release
Mm,
promotion? What are
mm.
you doing to promote before it comes out? All right, once it is released, what are you doing to actually engage people to get them to, they listen to your song on Instagram, they liked your song on Instagram. What are you going to do to get them to actually get off Instagram and go to Spotify? That's actually more difficult than you would think. The whole link
Incredibly
in
difficult.
bio thing doesn't quite do it all the time.
Listen, that's the trick, right? That's the magic trick. You got to get them off of one platform and go somewhere else, and spread it around and be so invested to that. So now they're going to your YouTube page after their Spotify because they love the song, and now they're looking for a live performance from you. They're looking for a music video of it or a lyric video that they can sing along to. Another tip when you're releasing music on Spotify, go through the trouble of adding your lyrics so people can sing along. Like, don't miss that step.
That's
Um,
right. That's right. So once you kind of have your release strategy now in your workflow, the third incredibly effective way to increase your general workflow is to have your templates. Okay, so this even
mhm.
kind of goes to the
Yes,
whole
yes,
release
yes, yes.
strategy, to do item or list that you have. Okay, so this can be on the production side that Orko can
Yes.
speak to this, but if you have templates of when you are just starting new songs, right? If you have a general like chord structure that you like to start with, but then on the more business side, well, if you have contract templates that you use, it's going to make you more efficient because there are things that you just do over and over and over, right?
Absolutely. So, like, as a producer, I have all kinds of different templates for, if I'm doing recording vocals for the day, if I'm, kind of song starting, I have, my effects and my mastering things and all the things I want already in the project that I frequently use, or the reverb types that I use. I record, Miss Krystle all the time. So she has her own vocal kind of templates and stuff that I use when I'm tracking her. So everything kind of sounds consistent on the demos.
Right.
Um, and then I make adjustments. But yeah, I can't even stress enough, even just having your templates for things like you said, for your for your release strategies, for your legal documents, for your press releases that you write. You just kind of have things that you plug and play, like your Photoshop. If you're when you're making thumbnails, you have your Photoshop templates that already have everything in it, your Premiere project templates. Have your stuff all ready to go, so just you're not just dragging stuff in or starting from scratch each time. I can't even tell you.
That's right. So then, number 4 on my insanely effective workflow hacks for you, create a music inspiration notebook. Okay, it can be whatever you want to call it, a diary, whatever. Digital, physical, I don't care what you're using. You need to have something that you just use to kind of jumpstart your inspiration. That can look at like different things. So, for example, on my phone, which is in front of me running Instagram right now, but on my phone, I have the notes. So in my notes, I have all my little ideas that I get from song titles to things that I see, and I'll save a link to the clip so I can go back to it. So mine is digital and it's on my phone, but I also have an actual physical planner.
Hmm.
Okay. So this, even though I have digital calendars, I use my physical planner as a thing to make notes of shit that's going well. And I use it to just reinforce positivity and inspiration. So that's what I do, right? But just let's just call it a music inspiration notebook of some kind.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be even just the way that you organize stuff on your computer. So, like you have lyric ideas. If you hear, it could be your Spotify playlist that you make of songs that are inspiring you of a direction to go back and listen to. Like maybe you're looking for, a vibes or something. So you're collecting vibes. Maybe you're writing down lyrics and putting them in there. Maybe you're taking, you know, uh, pictures that you find on Pinterest that are just the artwork is inspiring to you, and you put it into the same folder, just things that are inspiring to you, or, vocal notes when.
Oh, I think his computer just crashed. So I'm gonna keep going. So even on that note, he made such a good point. You go to Pinterest. I've seen pictures and I'll save them. This literally happened yesterday for a music video that I'm working on. I go back through, I send one of them to my team, and I'm like, hey, this is a thing that we're working on. This is an idea that I had. And so it's just something that I had saved that otherwise now I can actually use. So moving on, number 5, when it comes to the 5 most insanely effective workflow hacks, establish a centralized digital file management system. So we talked about you're going to have all your great templates ready to go. You need to go and find those. So you need to have a system of how you're like naming and saving your files, because if you're like me or anybody else, save something and then you'll forget where you save it. So you end up using just the general search function. And so you need to have good naming conventions. So you
I'm so bad at that.
documents and your files.
Like I'll be working on beats sometimes, and I'll literally just go like this on the keyboard. I'll go, and just wherever the keys land, like that's the name of it. And it's so bad because it isn't until I have like a real vocal idea that I think of calling something. Like all my titles end up sounding the same. But if you can do that, it saves so much time. And even now I'm really trying to force myself in my productions, just to name everything and put the BPM on them as well, so I can organize them. But yeah, you got to have like, and then backing everything up on in your Dropbox or Google Drive, on multiple drives. You never know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, so Ashley has a question. Any advice on organizing all of this, right? So
Just
we're
got to do
saying
it.
you got to do it. Well, there you go. Yeah, you got to do it, but having trying to communicate with your future self is how I would say it. Okay? So I know how I would probably search something. I'm like, this doesn't really make sense, but I know this is how I would search for it. It's kind of how I save
Right.
things. But also, obviously try to get a file that's like contract templates. Try to get a file that's like piano, template for writing
Right.
songs. Be intuitive about it. And then with your just kind of, management of these digital files, back everything up.
Yeah.
Okay. Use Dropbox, use Google Drive. Don't just have it on your computer. So when your computer crashes or your hard drive crashes and just decides to delete everything, you gotta have at least one backup. And my preference, if you are a super duper superstar, have it in 3 places.
Yeah.
Always save what's important in 3 places.
It's so important. And my little final just tip to you, it's gonna be difficult for a lot of us out there because we get impatient. At least I know I do. You gotta slow down when you're naming stuff. You have to spell it correctly if you're going to try to find it. Like So like if you see something is misspelled and then you hit enter and it does it, go back and respell it right because you're
That's
gonna have a
right.
hard time trying to find it. It's annoying because I am terrible with this and I get so frustrated when I have to type a lot of stuff. But yeah, like you gotta just put all the info, make it easier for yourself. Yeah, BPM too. Like I'm telling you, like I put the BPM and the beat stuff just so I can reference it. I'll even sometimes put just the genre of the vibe or something that it's in because I'll look at these titles that say Candy Apple and I'll have no idea what that is. But if I go Candy Apple 124, R&B, like I know kind of. So just make it easier for yourself so you're not just opening up projects to see what stuff is all the time. It's a pain though, I get it, but you got to.
All right. And those are your 5 insanely effective ways of improving your general workflow. Make sure you subscribe on Top Music Attorney YouTube for more tips to help you with your music career. Oh, I don't have my gavel. I forgot the gavel. For those of
What?
you who for those of you who are watching on other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, make sure you come over, say hi on Top Music Attorney, YouTube. Hello, hello. Someone was leaving a comment. They're like, "Is this pre-recorded?" No, it's not.
No, we are
Sorry.
live. We
We're
are
live.
live.
Okie dokie. So with that being said, let's move to the Taco Bell story because I'm just excited to discuss that. I feel like everyone needs to tell me their thoughts about Taco Bell. No, it's not a YouTube video. We are live, in fact, but we're on Top Music Attorney YouTube. All right, so let me go over here. I got my trusty notes. And in fact, I think I'll share my screen because Taco Bell actually put out a statement about this, and I kind of want to show you guys. All right, let me just share this. One sec, one sec.
Let me get a little sippy.
Yeah, for those of you who are checking in right now, where are you checking in from? What time is it? All right, here we go.
Thank you, Donnie. Yeah, The Warriors is like my favorite movie ever.
All right, here we go. In a clash of the Taco Titans, the battle over the famous phrase Taco Tuesday is heating up between 2 major chains, which one, we all know Taco Bell, and the other is Taco John's. Now, Taco John's, it's a smaller chain. I haven't heard of it before, but it has over 400 locations in 23 states, comparatively with Taco Bell, which has 7,200 locations around the United States. Now, Taco Tuesday was registered by Taco John's, and this was back in 1989, and they
Right.
had actually been using it already for roughly a decade. All right, so that means if they went and they got the trademark, they are the only ones that get to use it in conjunction with food type products, right? So what's happened is that Taco Bell has now recently filed a petition to cancel the trademark. And they're saying basically, Taco Tuesday as a phrase belongs to everyone. Everyone should eat and celebrate and do all the things and call it Taco Tuesday.
Now listen, I don't know if I have any Taco Bell fans in the crowd. I actually am a huge Taco Bell fan. I love Taco Bell, but that's not going to sway me neither here nor there. But I got to tell you, I'd never even occurred to me that some taco place would have owned Taco Tuesday because I see every single taco place anyway using Taco Tuesday. Everybody uses Taco Tuesday. So
Now, I
yeah,
think it's important that we actually take a look at the statement that Taco Bell put out because I think it's kind of telling, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, but let me just share this really fast. Here we go.
I
So
love Taco Bell.
this is from the actual Taco Bell website. It's called or titled "The Liberation
Mm,
of Taco Tuesday Begins." Taco Bell fights to cancel existing trademark registrations. So tacos have the unique ability to bring people together, to bring joy to
they
our
do.
lives, on an otherwise
Pre-
mediocre day of the week, Taco
Preach,
Tuesday.
preach.
But since 1989, Taco Tuesday has been registered as a trademark, creating potential
Mm,
legal consequences for those who want to use that phrase. So they filed a petition to cancel. We all know that. We believe Taco Tuesday should belong to all who make, sell,
mm,
eat, and celebrate
mm.
tacos. So they're saying, well, we're not
Free
trying to
Taco
get
Tuesday.
damages. This is just a petition so that everyone can use it because we're not trying to then like go and file and get it
Right, right, right.
ourselves. Now, where I'm kind of hesitating a quick sec on this is that I'm like, look, when you are a giant corporation like Taco Bell,
Right.
I'm always going to be a little suspicious when you're like, no, we don't have an agenda here. Well, yes, you
No,
do.
listen. If we're keeping it absolutely real, if I now I well, from what I read when I read something, Taco John's has, because there's a lot of infringers. Like you see Taco Tuesday everywhere, and they have not actually taken anybody to court over anything, over any other infringers. Thus far, they're in the right. Now, listen, I gotta tell you, if I actually owned Taco Tuesday, oh yeah, dude, I'd be collecting. I'm surprised that they're not. But I could get a
Now,
little petty like that.
some people are alleging this is just a glorified publicity stunt of Taco Bell, right? And essentially the troves of lawyers that they have, and they're trying to go after the smaller chain. But it cuts both ways. Obviously, this is the first time we're hearing about Taco John's, so they're getting a lot of publicity from this as well. So I don't know how much validity is to this, but there actually is another trademark that's held by Gregory Hotel
Mm.
Incorporated, which claims to
Yeah,
have
they just have
ownership
it in
in
one
Taco
state.
Tuesday. So Taco Bell's going after this little business as well and saying no,
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But I kind of agree with Taco Bell on a just a personal. Yeah, I mean, there's so many people that use it. I mean, if they're not going to enforce, I mean, enforce it if you got it. But I mean, like, I never even occurred to me that some taco place would use it because everybody uses it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah,
So
but look, at some point, this is what happens, right? So sometimes it just happens because a trademark becomes so commonly used, it
right.
becomes generic, right? So at some point, Windex or a Xerox machine, it's so generic to describing now a thing that it loses its trademark just for that reason. But now we have competitors like Taco
Mm.
Bell who are coming in and they go, well, I'm going to use this to try to actually cancel it. Now, to your point, Taco Tuesday is very common, and that is Taco Bell's
But at the
argument.
same point, when McDonald's had "I'm loving it," I mean, they would have held on to it, and I bet you if Taco Bell owned Taco Tuesday, they for sure would stop other people from using Taco Tuesday just because they're a giant corporation. That's kind of more common what you see. So I don't know if they would be so, hey bros, let's just everyone gets to use it if they own the trademark. I'm just shocked that Taco John's hasn't been enforcing. I mean, you got it, you have it for those reasons to protect something. Not that I'm trying to encourage pettiness, but I'm just saying.
Now, on a funny side note, if you guys just search on Google dumb trademarks, so when it comes to like the history of people attempting to trademark certain
Mm.
things, I'll just point out two that kind of go to the top of the list. One is Snooki, right? So from Jersey Shores, right?
Mm.
So Snooki, she attempted to
Snook.
trademark her trademark, which is Snooki, but there's
Mm.
already a pre-existing Snooki. Unfortunately, I think it's like a cartoon character, so she wasn't able to get that. Not to say that that's dumb, but the second one was actually Walmart.
Yeah,
Walmart
I don't know what's dumb
attempted
about that.
Walmart, well, it was just on the list. So if you run the
Oh.
list, you'll see some of the ones that come up. But another one that was on the list was Walmart and the smiley face. So they attempted to
Mm.
trademark their smiley faces because they were using it in conjunction with like low prices to be like, oh, you
Right.
should be so happy
Right.
because we have such low
Hmm.
prices. They weren't able to do that. And again, it's kind of on this. It's so generic. If
Yeah.
Walmart's gonna have exclusive dominance over the smiley face, we're all screwed.
Yeah, no, some of the stuff you just know, like it is just so commonplace. So, I mean, Taco Tuesday, I mean, school cafeterias use that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having Taco Tuesday when I was like in sixth grade. You feel me? So, um, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but at the same point, if they own it, I mean, you own it.
And that's and to honestly, that's kind of where I fall with this. I think that Taco Bell has run its numbers, and I think that it has the opportunity to make a lot of money with these Taco Tuesday campaigns, and so it makes more sense to try to get this
Kick
canceled.
kick him some ends.
And then on the flip side of this, for Taco John's, if you have had the registration since '89, used it for a decade
Yep.
prior to
Yep.
that, if you own it, good for you. The whole point of having trademark
Listen.
ownership is that you are the king of the castle and F anyone else.
Listen. If I was Taco John's, I own Taco John. Let's say I got this Taco John's thing on lock, right? I'm going to Taco Bell and I'm saying, look, why don't you just buy this trademark for me? Let's just talk. Let's talk a real price, and then you can own Taco Tuesday. You can do whatever you want from it. I mean, you're gonna pay for it, but you can do whatever you want, and you can start enforcing on all these other cats and around the way using Taco Tuesday and start going after elementary schools for Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, so Taco Tuesday is still trademarked as of now, but a typical trademark lawsuit litigation process through the USPTO is going to be like 2 years. So we'll keep you posted on this. And then for those of you on Instagram joining a little late, yes, we are live right now on Top Music Attorney YouTube, and we're talking about how Taco Bell is trying to cancel the Taco Tuesday
Put your
registration, which is held by Taco John's.
If you are watching this on a replay right now, why don't you put your favorite Taco Bell menu item in the chat?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like the
yeah.
cheesy
What
gordita,
is it? What's your favorite Taco Bell item, and what are you saying?
the cheesy gordita crunch with the nacho shell with no sauce, add tomatoes, and
Mm,
but my and the soft taco extra red sauce is my standard, but bean burrito, extra sauce, extra cheese, no onions. Oh, it always hits the spot. Now listen, I know how it's made. I know whatever. I get it. I get it. I don't eat tons of fast food, like, especially now in my life. I don't. It's a real treat when I get to have Taco Bell, but oh, I love it. I love it.
yeah, I don't have a lot of people on Instagram excited
She
about
never
Taco
eat.
Bell.
I don't know. You out
I
crazy. I love it.
I don't Taco Bell, so sorry.
At all. I have never once seen her put one item of Taco Bell in her mouth the entire time that I've known her, and she's been around Taco Bell. She sat there and watched me and criticized my Taco Bell eating.
Chalupas, a tacos sound disgusting, says Alan. All right, all right. Okay, so I want to move on, and I kind of want to jump in and do this. So earlier I was talking about how to retain your audience, and for my editor that's watching right now, I don't think you can actually use any of that because I did the intro completely wrong, and no one told me. So I completely said the wrong intro on it and went into like a totally different discussion. So I think it's just not usable. So I kind of want to just talk about it with you, and then we can just use that segment. What do you think?
Yeah, and then you want to get into the other one too?
I sure do, but
All
we're
right.
gonna do that first. We gotta make the people wait. We're gonna get to hot topics of the TikTok ban in
All right. So what are we doing
Montana.
to retain the audience?
Yeah, so let me do a nice little intro. You ready?
Hey. High
Well, no,
energy
that's
comment.
me doing the intro, not you.
I know. I'm not doing your intro. I'm just A-ing it up.
All right. Well,
Boosting it up for the
you,
big tip. Big
you
tip
let
out
me
there.
you let me know when you're ready.
Put a taco emoji in the comments. I'm hungry.
Yeah, put a taco emoji in the comments on IG if you're watching live. How to retain your audience long term. Okay, so as an independent musician, as an independent producer doing your thing, your audience is really what's going to help to catapult your career to the next level. So we want to make sure we don't lose our audience. So we're going to talk about the 5 ways that you can retain your audience. Starting with number 1, you gotta have exclusive content. Okay, and you gotta do it in a very feel good kind of way. All right, so what we're talking about is give your audience a reason to stay engaged. Okay, so it's not just the same stuff that you're putting out everywhere else. And what could that be? All right, so I'm going to give a couple and then you can. But the first just being early access. if you can give someone that special kind of early access or seeing behind the scenes or getting like an acoustic version of a song, doing merchandise, discounts, these are things that are like real feel good. And when you can make someone who cares about what you're doing feel good, they're going to want to stick
Mm.
around and support you long term.
Yeah, I love that. It's all about just the kind of making people feel that they're a part of something, or and always rewarding the people that are not just a casual listener or just kind of came in loose, like they are your actual fan base and stuff. So even things like having, when you have a single coming out, having an exclusive merch drop, and we've done tons of videos on merch on this channel too, so I invite you to take a look at those. But just doing it like an exclusive like merch drop of like a poster that promotes the album, or the or a t-shirt that's just limited edition to build excitement and hype, because everything just, you want to create that urgency.
Absolutely. So, on the best ways to retain your audience, number one, you're going to offer exclusive content. But then,
Mm.
number two, you're going to actually respond to people on social media. The whole point
Yes.
is that you are building to connect with people who care and support you and are going to come to your show and buy your shirts and pay your subscription fees. And before you get them to ever do something like pay you $1, you need to build that connection. You do that by responding to comments on social media. If you don't have a large following, the obligation on you is even more.
Right.
I should never be going to your social media profile and see that you have like two comments on a post and you haven't responded to either people or either person, right?
Absolutely. And things like that are, we actively, throughout the week, we scout different artists and producers and record labels, because we have, different programs and things like that. But that's one of the things that we look for. We look, if, for the engagement that they're getting, or do they have the basics? Do they know how to respond to them? Are they, nurturing their audience that's there? Think about how often you actually leave a comment on a post. I'm willing to bet it's not really that often, for how many, percentage wise, for how many posts that you see. So just think about that for your audience. If somebody's going to take the time, even if it's like 4 seconds, to drop an emoji, um, like
Yeah,
it's important that you recognize.
responding goes a long way. So then number 3, when it comes to how to retain your audience long term, go beyond the music. You got to show your personality. You have to
Yeah.
share something other than you just promoting your music every single day. Okay? So what are your hobbies? What are you into? Like, you don't have to show everything. You don't have to share stuff you don't want to share, but there's other sides to you. And what that does is it deepens the connection that
Yeah.
you have by sharing those experiences, by sharing those interests, and it's going to create a genuine connection. And like even with me, I wanted to just kind of deepen the connection with my audience, and so I started sharing about artists that I like and bands that I
Yeah.
like, and so it connected me better with people who are also into those bands. So that's one way that you can do it.
Yeah, and thinking about things like, when you're doing easy content. So like you were mentioning, just showing bands that you're into. I know you did those band shirt transitions where you're wearing, a band shirt that you were liking, and then it just was a content for something else. And it shows your personality. Not every post on your artist page, it has to kind of feel like a, even if it's not your person, even if you have like another IG account that's your personal IG, and then you have an artist IG account, or however you do it, just make sure that you're, it still feels like a personal IG account. It still feels like you're kind of sharing
Yeah.
things.
And I
And
even like literally use myself. So, this is what he's talking about. So I did some transitions. I'm wearing a band shirt of a band that I like. The song that's playing is to, a band also that I like. And there's a before and after. So it's really simple. It's just to share. And then literally talking to the camera, sharing stories, sharing some thought that I
yeah.
had, talking about going to, a music festival, talking about the bands that I like. So these are all ways, again, just to deepen the connection with someone who kind of cares.
And
All
if you
right.
keep it real with yourself, and it's something that's genuine, it's like it's going to be easy, and you're actually going to feel, you're going to come off confident, because you actually care about this stuff. And it's just going to help you be feeling more comfortable in front of the camera, doing these things, because they're real to who you are. You're not like, you're not trying to like learn a new TikTok dance in order, because you feel like that's what people are doing TikTok and that's what you have to do. No, it's just about connecting with other people on the platform through things that you're into.
That's right. So then number 4 on how to retain your audience long term, get a damn calendar.
Mm.
Okay, so you're going to get a calendar to keep yourself on track. So you are releasing music regularly, so that you are posting
Yeah.
regularly. If you don't have a plan, then you're just not going to do it. Because guess what? Most of the time, you don't feel like doing stuff.
Mm.
But as a business, and as a business that's going to get to 6 figures and beyond, you have to sit down and discipline yourself with actually staying consistent. And you do that with getting a calendar.
I love it. I love it. Calendars, whiteboards. Where would you say you have your little journal, diary, or calendar thing, notebook? You got it. You have to have it. Your Google Calendar on your phone, setting yourself timers and alarms, whatever keeps you on track, and you know, having like a piece of paper even in front of you that has your release checklist. So you just don't try to recall all the information. Have it somewhere in a Word document of what you need to do for your new release. So you're not like, oh, I totally forgot to register my music, or oh, I
That's right.
totally forgot to write my press release so I can sit it into Spotify for artists. And it's the last day that I can do it. And I have no idea how I'm going to fill those 500 characters to pitch my song to have it have a chance on Spotify.
That's right. And then number 5 on how to retain your audience long term, it's be unusual and create unusual, unique experiences for your fans. Now,
I like
there
that.
are things that we can point to, such as pop up meet and greets. If you're doing live shows, you can do the VIP stuff, right? Backstage passes and meet and greets. But you can do, like fan club kind of meetups. You can do
Yeah.
all kinds of things that just really dive deeper into the relationship with the fans who care, who are going to be like your street team members, who are going to promote you. They're going to be the ones that get out the word of what you're doing. So try to
And it's
be
never
as
been
unique as
easier to do
possible for
that.
them.
Especially if you are able to monetize on YouTube, if you've grown your channel to doing that, you can actually set up, where people have kind of like memberships to your channel, and that's where you pop on and the members can have a special live stream with you. You could do things like, I know that one of my favorite artists is Thero, so she used to, back in the days, like Patreon, but this carries over to even now. She would offer experiences where they could go hiking with her on a meetup. Everybody met at a karaoke bar one night, and they
It's
would do
fun.
karaoke, and they would see her doing that. There was things for the patrons, like she would call some of you up and like read you a lullaby or sing you a lullaby or something. Like, there's all kinds of unique things that you can do, and the more unique and the more connected kind of experience, all within safety, stay safe. But I mean, you can actually, if you're thinking of even merch items, you can also charge for those experiences, but it's more about just finding ways that you can connect more with your fans that are buying into you.
And we're doing that because we're going to be genuine, we're going to stay consistent, and we're working on building the relationship with the
That's
people
it.
who actually care about what we're doing, which is a lot more than we can say for even our family and even our friends. So you guys are killing it. Make sure
Facts.
you subscribe so you can get more videos helping you with your music career. Okay, so with that being said, let's move on now. TikTok's getting banned. And
Uh-oh.
actually, there was a comment. Let me just make sure I hit it. Sorry, guys, I can't answer until we're done with each segment. But someone had asked about my book. So for the book, you can still get physical copies if you go to misskrystle.com. So I do have physical copies there, and I can sign them and do all the things.
Oh.
Motorbike meetups. It's been a ride, says. A. All right, so let's talk about TikTok. Let me go back to this because this is interesting. Are you ready? TikTok is now banned in Montana. Well, soon to be. So, Montana's governor, Greg Guyenfort, hopefully I said that right, he made headlines because he signed a bill that bans TikTok in the state. And he's obviously the first to do this. So,
Right.
the move aims to protect Montana's personal data from the Chinese Communist Party. The law takes effect in January and targets TikTok specifically
Yeah.
and prohibits download of the TikTok app. So it's specifically to like the interfacers, right? So it's not the users. If they get it, they're not going to be fined this $10,000 fine,
I think it's
but
like
it's
per day for
per
violation.
day. So a
Yeah.
$10,000 fine per day, but this is for any entity in like an app store that would
Mm.
facilitate the download of the app. So come January, for those of you in Montana, Yikes.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not, because this is details of this are still kind of slowly trickling out. So I don't know what they're going to do about if it's already on people's phones and they're using it. I don't know if there is a way where they can, erase it from phones, or like they could force the company to take it off of a certain area or certain users phones or something. I don't even know how they would do that, but I do know that so you're thinking, oh well, the people that still have it are going to be good. I mean, I can't even imagine in Montana how many people daily are signing up for TikTok that are just coming of age, that just turned their birthday, they just got a new phone, they want to do TikTok videos every day. People are jumping on this platform.
Now,
And
as far as kind of like where this is going to go, I think it's important to note that there are concerns over data, right? So
right.
having to do with China-based ownership, and it's Byte Dance, right, which is the company
Right.
that owns TikTok, but there's currently no evidence of the Chinese government accessing personal information of US TikTok users. Okay, so this ban is, obviously facing a lot of criticism, right? We have
Sure.
concerns about free speech, data protection, foreign influence over American platforms. I mean, so it's obviously very contentious, but the downsides to this include if you are a business in Montana and you make
Right.
money and you cultivate customers through social media, including TikTok, this could absolutely
This is a big
hurt your
deal.
business.
This is it's a big deal for a few reasons. Now, it's a big deal because it's going to immediately affect potential businesses and how they operate, or being able to continue to operate. But like, the even the ACLU is like claiming that this free speech is just driven by anti-Chinese sentiment, and it's like, because oh my God, the Chinese government has access to our information. If you are on any social media, if you are in Google, if you have a cell phone, like, it's the same stuff that is being shared that you're not concerned with when it's just some random company. Like, it's just because they're pointing. I don't know. I don't want to get into a whole thing about that, but my point is, it's just a slippery slope. What is next that they are going to take or stop and hurt your business? If you are relying your business on TikTok, if you are, or Instagram, is Instagram next because of just for whatever, political reason? And the problem is, this is one state where it's going to go into effect in January. And is this just the first of many? Because now they've kind of set a precedent of it starting, and it's just kind of, um, I mean, obviously, all this stuff needs to be looked at, but I'm just saying, is really going to affect a lot of artists, musicians, any
Well,
business
and
owner.
I even have someone that I know who right now the majority of his business is coming out in through TikTok. And I mean, they're making an absolute killing. Now, when it even comes to the free speech debate, right? Well, can you go and say what you want on other platforms? Yes, right? Do you have a means of expressing yourself otherwise? Yes. Can you still go and make, get new customers and earn money and do your business and all that on other platforms? Yes. But again, I'm not the person, for example, who has my main following on TikTok. I would say a lot of my following is through Instagram. I would be pretty devastated if Instagram went away. But that goes back to you kind of need to be
Right.
prepared because these things
Right.
will happen.
Happen.
And so you have to kind
MySpace
of
is
be
gone,
be
but not
ready for
not
the
for these same
hit.
reasons. Not for these same reasons, but it just goes. You're absolutely right. You know, MySpace isn't a thing anymore. That was the thing, and then literally overnight it was Facebook, and then literally overnight it was Instagram, and then TikTok. Like, this stuff happens so fast, and if you are happening to just have your following and you're counting on that kind of stuff, it's gonna affect your bottom line, especially new customers that are coming in that watch that. Now, of course, you can transition to something else, but you're gonna find that it's a slippery slope. It's probably gonna be one of many. So keep an eye on this stuff. And if like, when just think about the stuff when you're voting, like, everybody needs to vote, no matter what side of the aisle that you're on or wherever you sit. Everyone needs to vote. Everyone needs to participate and look and see what's going on, because this stuff is literally affecting your day-to-day life.
And on a final kind of personal note, I would say I've learned some of the most incredible things on TikTok.
Absolutely.
There's just really no other platform where I'll get
I'm late to the
served
game.
something, and all of a sudden now I know that in order to clean my stovetop, I need baking soda and lemon, and it's changed my life. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, in any case, we will continue to cover the TikTok ban
Mm,
situation. But for now, Montana, we feel for ya, and it's coming for ya in January. $10,000 fines. Yikes.
yikes.
All
And then
right.
one thing that doesn't have to go in the video, but just one thing I don't think we mentioned. It's not even just TikTok. So it's just they're keeping an eye on ByteDance, that company that makes all these other apps. And so even now, they are banning the use of the app CapCut. So like just the video editing app, because it's also owned by the same company that owns TikTok. And so like in government, employees are not allowed to have the CapCut app on their phone. So like it's just it's starting, and maybe it's good, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking, but I'm just saying like it's kind of just scary how when you're just dependent on these things, I really hope that they have proof that something malicious is going on.
All right. So now that we're done with that segment, I have one more thing I want to talk about, and I'll probably just cover this. So we're going to kick you out of
Cool.
here. That Orko, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much. Before you guys roll out at the end of the show, make sure that you are hitting the like. Hit it right now. Hit like, hit like, hit like, hit like, hit like wherever you are, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.
That's right. If
Thanks.
you're watching on by if you're watching on Instagram, I think you heart. I don't think you like. Can you heart? Let me see the hearts going up. All right, guys. So I want to talk about how to avoid losing your entire audience. This is the one that I accidentally, yeah. This is the one that I accidentally merged with my first tip. And it's just because there's so much information in front of me and I was thinking about it. And then my brain Frankensteined multiple sections together. So, in an amazing kind of feat, I did do it. It was wrong, but we're going to do it again and do it correctly. Okay, so this is a new tip. All right, so I have 5 epic tips when it comes to being an independent artist, a producer, anyone in the music business on how to not have social media dependency. All right, so specifically, how to avoid losing your entire audience overnight. So the first thing is going to be email lists, right? We all know about them, but we don't really use them. And for those who are really trying to have some long term kind of connection with the audience so that you don't just get your Instagram deleted, TikTok goes away, Facebook goes away, MySpace went away. You know what I'm saying? When that happens, it's just a matter of time. So, all that effort that you put into building your following, right, for your business, which is your music career, which might be your record label, all that could go away overnight. And that's kind of scary. So having an email list is very simple, right? But it's a way that you have direct access now to people who might buy a product, right? Come to a show, listen to your song. And so building that email list is really important. And you can have offerings, right? And special incentives to get people to join the list because people are tired of getting emails, and that's fine. But it really is an incredibly effective way to stay connected with people long term. All right, so number one, it's the email list. But number two, when it comes to how to avoid losing your audience overnight, you have to encourage fan engagement through your website. And I've seen some independent artists do this really well. So before they drop, let's say, a music video, they might say go to, obviously join the email list, and you are going to get to view the music video a full day before it comes out, or I have a special acoustic version or something to incentivize people to not only be on the list but to actually reward them for being part of that community. Okay, so get them to go to the website, and you might say, well, I don't have a website. Well, guess what? If you go to like Wix.com or any of these very simple website builder platforms, it's pretty much drag and drop. And that's the good news. And for especially like an artist or even a simple record label kind of landing page, it really just needs to be a landing page. So you have like some logos that go to your social media, you have a link that goes to a music platform, it has your name and title, and that's it. That really is sufficient. And I like to call this a portal. So just have like a landing page that acts as a portal for where you can send traffic, but obviously that's where people can sign up to be on your mailing list. So you'll have a little sign up to be a part of the community. So number three, when it comes to how do you ensure that you don't just lose your entire audience overnight and all your work, you're going to diversify your different platforms, which does include social media. Okay, so let's say TikTok goes away. When and if and when TikTok goes away, well, have you tried to move your audience by cross promoting with other platforms? Hey, I'm releasing a video on YouTube. Go subscribe. Hey, I did some exclusive content on Instagram. Go subscribe, especially if it's pictures, right? So we're typically not going to post our pictures on TikTok. So you diversify your social media presence and you ensure that you have at least 3, right? I really like 3. 3 feels real good. So if you have TikTok, if you have Instagram, and maybe you are posting a lot to, let's say, YouTube Shorts, which I love, please do that. If you are posting on any platform and doing that 9:16 format, which is like I call it, it's just the TikTok format, that format works for every single platform, including Twitter, including LinkedIn, including Facebook. And they auto format for you so that it fits for their feed, which is fantastic. So just pick 3 minimum, okay? And make sure you are posting your content on all 3 platforms and diversifying your social media presence. Number 4 on how to avoid losing your entire audience overnight, which would be just so bad. Okay, we're going to make sure we're actively cross promoting. All right, so as we're trying to build our at least 3 platforms, okay, you have to take time to actually have something going on. If someone's on TikTok and you're like, hey, go to YouTube, making someone platform jump is a huge ask. It's really hard. So, for example, yesterday I released a video on my YouTube channel. And so what I did, specifically from Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter and all the places, I posted a kind of clickbaity picture and I made it kind of mysterious. You don't know what I'm going to say. And so there's at least some interest or mystery that's created. So you incentivize people because if they want to scratch the itch and they want to know what it is, they have to go to the YouTube channel. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Don't just give it away, kind of tease, but make sure you're cross promoting. All right. And number 5, when it comes to the, best ways to avoid losing your audience overnight, you have to engage through offline promotion. So what I mean by this is, having in-person stuff that you do. If you have shows, you can do meet and greets, you have sign-up sheets. Sign-up sheets are actually really effective. Just it's hard because sometimes you can't read people's handwriting. So use your expertise on that. But by having these, you are, again, connecting with people, you are getting the information, you're kind of taking control over ways to make sure you stay connected with your audience. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe, so you can get more information to help your music career. All right, guys, that was a whole lot of we are just slaying with the tips. Do we like it? I've had a handful of people who are hanging on for dear life on Instagram, which is amazing to me because they can't hear the other side of these conversations. But I love you guys. Thank you very much. All right, so we're gonna go to a concert. I'll probably post some stuff about it on my Miss Krystle Instagram, which you're welcome to follow. That's a whole other thing that I do. But I hope you guys are doing great. Are we running a music video at the end of this, Mr. Producer? All right. So we're going to run something in the way, which is my last release, my last song, my last music video, and something that you should definitely take a listen to if you haven't yet. Do you see me? I'm like trying to sales pitch this, which is really good. It's great. You really should listen to it. If you're into dark pop music, definitely check it out. Don't forget to listen to the pod, right? So we do the show every Thursday, but we also break it up into digestible segments for you so you can listen at your leisure, which is Top Music Attorney on all social, or I'm not social, but like Spotify and, the places. Yeah. All right, so with all that being said, you know what to do. I'm sweating, I'm melting over here. It's all falling apart, so I need to just stop talking. I love your faces. Thank you very much for being here. I'm Top Music Attorney, Miss Krystle. I will be in the chat, and I will see you guys next Thursday at 5 p.m. PST. Peace. No! Why would you do that to me? All right, so I'm being told by my producer to also mention that we'll probably do a Sunday show. We're talking about it. We haven't decided a time yet, but we might do a Sunday show. So there we go. Bye, guys.
whenever you're gone. I just need your company, need you on your knees. I wanna feel your touch forever. What I want is what you're gonna do. When my fingers down your back and slide, you'll be mine just one more time. Loud, the sound around. There's something in the way you lay me down. Something in the way you make better. There's something in the way you make your sound. Something in the way, the way, the way. And when you're kissing me, your lips taste of my passion. You can put your hands on me.